Hello everybody, this is Miss M in Years in Education. We're going to answer the whole STAAR 2021 of science. This is a very long video, so how it works is you're gonna take the test. I'm gonna put in the description, and then you're gonna check the ones that you go wrong, and then you're gonna only watch the video, the questions that you go wrong, because if not, it's gonna take you forever. And this is, I'm dyslexic, so you're gonna see how sometimes I struggle with some questions. And I'm also an English learner, which means that I don't have all the vocabulary needed. So in some of the questions, I'm gonna give you strategies of what do you do when you don't have all the vocabulary. I'm sure that is gonna help you. I'm gonna show you how to use the sticky notes. And if you don't have an iPad or something to make drawings, I highly recommend you using the sticky notes. Thank you so much for staying here. Subscribe, and let's get this party started. The question one says, okay, we have a line reader. I'm gonna use a line reader. A student recorded the time it took for all the water in a puddle on a sidewalk to evaporate after a rain. Which kind of energy causes water to evaporate? Okay, so what I tell my students, the best way to get a correct answer is using the sticky notes. So I'm gonna write A, B, C, D, and then justify why do I pick a question, an answer, or not. So I'm gonna read the question again. I always read it twice. A student recorded the time it took for all the water in a puddle on a sidewalk to evaporate after a rain. Which kind of energy causes water to evaporate? Well, what do I know about evaporation? It's part of the water cycle, and it requires heat. So let's see what are the options. It says light from the street lights. Okay, light. Okay, let's see B. Sound energy passing from cars, definitely not. Thermal energy from the environment, okay, most likely, and mechanical energy from nearby streets. So let's eliminate first which ones make absolutely no sense. Incorrect. I'm going to put an I. Sound does not evaporate water. And then mechanical energy, either. Mechanical energy does not evaporate water at all. Mechanical energy is movement, and sound is something that you hear. I'm gonna be all proper and start with a capital letter, okay? And then light energy, we see the light. It will not evaporate water. And then last but not least, thermal. I'm gonna put this in capital letters because it's correct. Thermal is heat, and heat evaporates. Okay, I need to evaporates water. I cannot type and talk. That's why I'm not typing very well. But the message is thermal is heat, and heat evaporates water. So I know 100% that this is correct. I'm gonna save and close, and I'm gonna go to the next question. Earth continuously rotates on its axis while also moving in an orbit. About how much time does it take for Earth to make one complete rotation on its axis? And it is how we have day and night. So I know that is 24 hours, but I'm gonna put this in capital letters. It takes 24 hours for Earth to rotate on its axis. And then I'm gonna put a note, day and night. And then B, 30 days, it's a month. That is a month. And then C, it says 60 minutes. That is an hour. 360 days. That is a whole year. It is when Earth rotates in an orbit around the sun. So the difference, the only one that will be kind of maybe, it will be D, but B and C we can eliminate completely very easy, and that's how I know about the 24 hours. So 24 hours, it's in its own axis, it's one day, and 360 days is when the Earth rotates around the sun. It's a whole year. So I'm gonna save and close. For a class demonstration, a student turned off the lights in the classroom. The student then shined light from a flashlight through a hole in a piece of cardboard. The class saw the narrow beam of light continue until another student placed a mirror in the light's path. The light did not continue past the mirror because, so I need to imagine what's going on. In science, you need to imagine the scenario. And if I had something to draw with, I will draw something. I highly recommend that when you're taking your test, you make little drawings to imagine what's going on. So it's their lights are off, so everything is dark, pitch black most likely. Then there's light from a flashlight in a whole piece of cardboard. So imagine the cardboard with a hole and then a flashlight going, the light going through this hole. The class saw the narrow beam of light continue until another student placed a mirror in the light's path. The light did not continue past the mirror because, well, I know the light can refract, reflect, and be absorbed. And a mirror, what do you see in a mirror? You see your own reflection, okay? So it says light cannot travel very far. Let me get my sticky notes. A, light travels very, very far. And then an example is the stars and the sun. We can see the light from far, far away, so that's not it. The mirror absorbed the light. Opaque objects absorb light. A mirror reflects. Oh Lord. Then C, the light was refracted back to the light source. No. Refraction is when light is bent. And then D, light travels in straight line and cannot go around objects. True. Light travels in straight lines and it was reflected by the mirror. Okay, so the answer is D. I'm gonna save and close this. Okay, a table of different properties of 4 samples of matter is shown. And then we have all these tables: sample, conductors, soluble in water, physical state of room. Okay. Which conclusion can be made about the samples on the table? Okay, sticky note. Sample 1 is made out of plastic. So let's see sample 1A. Sample 1 conducts electricity. Plastic conducts electricity? No, that's true. Conducts heat? No, that's true. Soluble in water? Yes. No, false. Plastic is not soluble. I don't need to continue because I already know that that's not true. What about B? Sample 2 is made out of metal. Conducts electricity? Yes. That's why you cannot touch, you cannot put a fork in an outlet because you're going to get electrocuted. And then conducts heat? True. That's why you cannot touch a metal pan. You're going to get severely burned. And then soluble in water? No, that's also true. Metals are not soluble in water. Physical room at temperature, solid, true. So I'm thinking that it's B, but I'm going to check the rest of them. C, conducts sample 3 is attracted to magnets. So it could be iron, nickel, or cobalt. Conducts electricity? No. Well, that's false because they do conduct electricity. Conducts heat? Yes, that's true. And then physical state liquid, that's absolutely false. So it's not C. And then D, conducts electricity. Sample 4 is less dense than water, so it means that it floats. It floats. And then it says conducts electricity. What things are less dense than water? Well, there are many different things. It could be an apple. It could be oil. It could be alcohol, wood, plastic. All those things are less dense than water. So it says conducts electricity. Yes. Well, wood does not conduct electricity. Wood does not. But on the other hand, an apple does. So some yes and some not. Now, conducts heat, it says yes. Well, wood does not, or plastic does not. Soluble in water, it says no. Well, alcohol is soluble in water. Even though it has less density, it is soluble in water. And then it says physical state at room temperature liquid, an apple and wood are solids. So basically, we do not have enough info to mark this as the correct answer. So the correct answer is B. Sample 2 is made out of metal because metals conduct electricity, they conduct heat, they are not soluble in water, and they. Okay, here 5. I'm gonna open my sticky note. And I know it takes time, but it's gonna really, really help you to get way more answers correct once you analyze. It says a wagon is pushed and begins to move. As the wagon moves, it slows and comes to a stop. The wagon and the direction pushed are shown. The direction the wagon is pushed, what causes the wagon to stop. Okay, so there are 2 forces that we learn in 5th grade, and it is the gravity, what makes things come to the center of the earth, and then we have friction. And friction is what makes things to come to a stop. So we have A, the force of gravity, which is acting in the same direction as the arrow. No. Gravity pulls things to the center of the earth. Center of the earth. Things fall. And then B, the force of friction, which is acting in the same direction as the arrow. Friction acts in the opposite direction. C, the force of gravity is acting in the opposite direction. Gravity pulls down. And then D. Okay, friction acts in the opposite direction. It stops things, so it makes things come to a stop, definitely. I'm gonna save and close. Next. We have 6. Students made a chart classifying animal behaviors inherited and learned. And then inherited is things that you pass from parents to their young or to the offspring. Or in humans, it's things that parents pass through to their kids. And then learn things, it's things that only a specific group or specific sample of animals, plants, or humans do. Not everybody has that characteristic. So inherited, it says a bird looking for food in a trash can. Okay, owl being active at night, turtle burying eggs. And then learn, dog coming when its name it's called, pony pulling a cart, and squirrels getting seeds from a bird feeder. Which animal behavior is not correctly classified? So this is tricky because we cannot make annotations. When you are working on paper, you can like really cross things out. But we have to be creative with these sticky notes. Inherited. Okay, so looking for food in trash can is, okay, so what can I do here? Bear looking. That is something that is learned. Why? Only some bears do it. So that is definitely incorrect. Not all the bears in the world are going to look for food in a trash can. It's something that they have to learn. An owl being active at night, that all owls are active at night, and all turtle bury eggs. And then learned, a dog coming when its name is called, yes, they have to learn that. A pony pulling a cart, they have to learn that. Not all ponies pull a cart. Not all dogs come when their name is called. And not all squirrels get seeds from a bird feeder, because not all squirrels have contact with bird feeders. So they're all correct. So it's very simple. The bird looking for food in the trash can, since it's something that not all bears do, it's something that is learned. So let me save and close and go to the next question. Canyons and mesas are two landforms found in the western part of the United States. Which statement best describes how canyons or mesas are similar? So what do I do now? Sticky notes. I know it takes time, but it's really, really worth it. So just get in the habit of typing and justifying. Okay, so canyons and mesas. Canyons are formed by rivers, and mesas are not, I'm not sure what they are. So if you are in a situation on a test that you do not know part of the answer, you have to use everything that you do know. So canyons, I know that they're formed by rivers. And let's see if we can figure it out. It says both were formed by slow-moving glaciers. No. Glaciers form U-shaped valleys. So even though I do not know what mesas are, and this is just an example of what to do when a question you don't know. So you have to use what you do know. So I know that it's not A. And then B, both were formed by erosion, wind, and water. Okay, let's put a maybe, because I'm not 100% sure. Both were part of a mountain that was weathered by ice. I don't think that not all canyons are formed by ice. So it's not C. And I don't even know if any canyons. I know that canyons had to do with rivers. And then both were part of a desert that was reshaped by a flood? No. Not, canyons are not formed by floods. They are formed by rivers. Okay, so now this maybe is the one that makes more sense. So as I told you before, this is a strategy. I do not know what mesas are, but you don't have to freak out. You have to go with what you do know. I know that canyons are formed with rivers and wind. So yes, glaciers, those are U-shaped valleys. Weathered by ice are U-shaped valleys. Canyons are V-shaped valleys. V-shaped valleys. And I know that ice had to be with U-shaped valleys, so that's why I'm eliminating it. And then part of a desert reshaped by a flood. That's no. So I'm 99% sure that it is B. So I'm going to save and close. Oh, circuits. These type of questions are kind of a challenge since we cannot draw unless you're using a tablet, but most schools do not have tablets for these, so hopefully you do have one. So we're gonna figure it out without drawing. It says a student wants to make a change to the circuit shown below so that when switch 1 is open and switch 2 is closed, only one light will be on the circuit. Okay, so, and there's absolutely nothing for us to draw. If you have a journal, I highly recommend you drawing, but I am trying to do this without any type of drawing, just using the sticky notes that I know that everybody's gonna have. So it says, which diagram shows how the student should change the circuit? Okay, so they want switch 1 open. Open is when it does not carry any type of electricity, and switch 2 is closed. And okay, I'm gonna read it again. A student wants to make a change to the circuit shown below so that when switch 1 is open and switch 2 is closed, only one light will be on in the circuit. Okay. So he's gonna close switch 2, this one on the right, and we want only one light on. So let's check A. A, you have the battery, this is on. The light on the top does not have electricity, and the lights at the bottom do not have any electricity either, because switch 1 is off, so no. None of the lights would be on. Let's see B. B, it's at the bottom one. You have the switch, you have the battery. The bottom light bulb will be on because it has electricity coming from both sides, and then this one on the top will also be on. So 2 lights will be on. So it's not B. Let's see C. We have energy going through the cable here. Since switch 1 is open, none of them will be on. None of the lights would be on. Let's check D. Hopefully he's correct. So D, we have the battery, and then we have switch 2 on. And then the light bulb at the bottom has energy. And then the light bulb on top, even though it has energy on the right side, on the left side, it does not, because switch 1 is open. And the light bulb on the bottom left will also not be on. So we can totally say that D is the correct answer. Only one light will be on. So yeah, this is tricky, I'm not gonna lie, and I hope that you can make some drawings. But if you do not have access to an iPad or like a journal, you're gonna have to really be very, very creative and resourceful with your sticky notes. And I'm hoping that in the future we can add some drawings to this, and well, wishful thinking. Students researching the relationships between some organisms in La Vaca Bay ecosystem in Texas made this partial food web. So we see a bunch of animals, phytoplankton, crabs, blah, 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 grass, and all that. Which of these lists contain only organisms that receive some of their energy directly from other organisms that produce their own food? Okay, I'm going to read the question again. Which of the lists contain only organisms that receive some of their energy directly from other organisms that produce their own food? Okay, so what in the world are they asking? Which list contains only organisms that receive some of their energy directly from organisms that produce their own food? Okay. So they're asking energy from producers, and producers are plants. So I'm going to be on the lookout for organisms that receive their energy, which means that they eat plants, okay? So bald eagles are on the top, and bald eagles get their energy from rabbits and sparrows. Okay, so no. Bald eagles are not. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so I can take this away. I'm going to say A, bald eagles are carnivores. So that's not it. And then swamp rabbits. Swamp rabbits are here. They eat grass. Okay, so that could be it. Then hermit crabs. Hermit crabs eat grass as well. And then swamp sparrows. Swamp sparrows eat grass as well. Okay, so maybe. Okay, let's check C. C says phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, as we can see, does not have any arrows, which means that phytoplankton is a producer. Phytoplankton is a producer. And then I'm going to put in parentheses, not receiving energy from other organisms. No arrows. Okay? And then D, it says D includes phytoplankton as well, so I can totally eliminate that. And it says wiregrass and covergrass. All of these are producers. So that was, it looked hard, but in reality, it was easy. Maybe it's correct. Okay, what in the world? What happened here? So I'm gonna save and close this. This is correct. How do I? Okay, I chose the strike through, but I don't want to do that anymore. Uh-oh, what did I do? How do I uncross this one? OMG. What's happening? I want to choose this one as the correct question, correct answer. Okay, so, okay, got it. Since I put the strike through on all of them, now I have this one. Okay, no, what? How do I take this off? I don't want this. Okay, there you go. That was so tricky. Wow. Okay, so now I think I'm not gonna use that option anymore. That was super tricky. Okay, sticky notes. Yes, save and close. We can move to the next one. A science class is observing a pet turtle in a small plastic pool. The students turn on a portable camping lamp that is clamped on a counter next to the pool. So we have little turtle here and lamp. Which kind of energy is used by the portable lamp to produce light? Well, that is very, very easy. I'm going to put my sticky notes. So light, a lamp uses battery or it is plugged, which is electrical energy. Electrical energy is either batteries or something plugged to an outlet. So we say A. Mechanical, blah, blah, blah. No, mechanical is movement. So that's not it. B. Thermal energy. Thermal is heat. So no. It produces heat, but it's not what it uses. Electrical because it's battery operated. Correct. Electrical is either by being plugged or batteries. D, sound energy because the lamp vibrates when it clicked on? No. I'm just gonna put a no because that makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so the answer is electrical energy because it's battery operated. 11. Students observe a glass of ice and water. The glass is dry on the outside, and after 10 minutes, students see drops on the water. Students see drops of water. After 10 minutes, students see drops of water on the outside of the glass. Which statement best explains students' observations? So, sticky notes. No mark for review. Sticky notes. I learned that droplets are formed by condensation. And condensation is the opposite of evaporation. So let's see A. The water vapor in the air changes to a liquid when it touches the cold glass. Okay, condensation is vapor to water. And then evaporation is water to vapor. Okay, so it says the water vapor in the air changes to a liquid when it touches the cold glass. So most likely is A, but do I choose A? No, I'm gonna read all of them. B, the cold water inside the glass rises and then it slides down outside the glass. No, bye. The ice in the glass melted until the water. Okay, I'm sorry about that. The ice in the glass melted and caused the water to overflow the glass. We do not know how much water was in the glass. So we cannot know if it overflowed or not. So no. The water moved to the outside surface through tiny holes in the glass. The question does not mention holes. So definitely this maybe is yes. Water vapor condensed and formed droplets. I'm gonna add water droplets just to be more. Okay, 7 close and it's A. See how easy this is? It's really, really easy. Question 12. Students choose objects to model the relative sizes of the Earth and the Moon. And then we have some balls, soccer ball, basketball, baseball, blah, blah, blah. Which set of objects best compares the sizes of the Earth and the Moon? Okay, I know that the Earth is way smaller than the Sun, and the Moon is way smaller than the Earth. So, Earth and Moon, no. Sticky note time. A. The Moon is way smaller than the Earth. B. The Earth and Moon the same. The Moon is way smaller. C. The Earth, Moon, probably, maybe. And D. Earth and Moon. No. The Earth is bigger than the Moon. So this is so easy. The answer is C. Save and close and next. That was so easy. Question 13. It says, a dinosaur fossil is shown, and I see a dinosaur here with like big bones and big teeth, and that's all I can see. Which question can scientists most likely answer from studying the fossil of the dinosaur? So I'm going to open my sticky notes, and it says, what was the pattern on the skin of the dinosaur? So I cannot see, we cannot see skin. B, what type of food the dinosaur ate? Well, on this picture, of course, I do not see an apple or like rabbits or lions, but I do see the teeth, and it had grown like huge teeth. So this is a maybe. It was a carnivore because of the teeth, okay? Then C, how fast the heart of the dinosaur beating? We cannot know that. We cannot know that from the picture. How many eggs were in the nest? Okay, this is like a joke, guys. How many eggs were in the nest of the dinosaur? We cannot know that. So basically, this dinosaur most likely was a carnivore because of the size of the teeth. So that's it. Save and close. Next. In the early 1600s, the astronomer Galileo used a telescope to make observations of Mercury and Venus. What are the positions of these planets in relation to the sun? Okay, so most teachers use mnemonics to show this. Sometimes I learn it with a song, but I'm gonna show the mnemonics. So it says, my very educated mother just served us nachos. My very educated mother just served nachos. For me, I learned it with a song that says, Mercurio, Venus, Tierra, Marte, Júpiter, Saturno, Urano, Neptuno, y Plutón. That's how I learned it. But here in the States, teachers use mnemonics. So you have to learn this. It says, my very educated mother just served us nachos, which means Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Now, if Pluto is a planet or not, well, that's a big mess. So let's put numbers next to the planets. And this is, of course, in relationship with the sun. Okay. So Mercury is the planet closest to the sun, and Venus is the second. Well, that's easy. Yes. So Mercury is the closest, yes, and then Venus is the second. And then B, Mercury is the second, no. That Mercury is the first. Venus is the planet closest to the sun, no. Mercury is the third planet from the sun, no. Guys, that's just so easy that everybody should get this one right. This chart describes some beak and toe adaptations that help oh gosh. Okay, let me read this again. I'm dyslexic, so that's why sometimes I have trouble reading. This chart describes some beak and toe adaptations that help 4 bird species survive in different habitats. Bird 1, long, sharp beak, blah, 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 special toe. Bird 2, sharp beak, fish, long toes, blah, blah. Bird 3, heavy pointed beak with sharp edges, blah, blah, blah. Bird 4, grooved beak from straining food from water, web toes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Based on these adaptations, which table best matches the bird species to its environment? So we see prairie, forest, pond, and marsh. I can anticipate many people do not know what a marsh is. So what do I do when I do not know some of the vocabulary? I go with what I know. So get your sticky notes, and we're going to figure it out without knowing what marsh is. Okay? Because if you're in the test, you're going to go on Google and look for images. So How do I answer a question if I do not know all of the vocabulary? Well, you're going to stick to what you know. A, prairie. Okay, so what will be the best strategy for these? Okay, the best strategy I'm going to try is I'm going to say the birds. Bird 1, where could they live? So it's long, sharp beak hammering into tree trunks. Special toe placement that helps support on tree trunk. Okay, what could that be? Well, I'm not sure about bird 1. So let's go to bird 2. It says bird 2, sharp beak spring fish. Okay, there's fish, so there's water. Long toes for walking on mud, okay, and grasping plants. Okay, so we have fish and mud. That could be a pond. So most likely it could be a pond. Bird 3. Heavy pointed beak with sharp edges splitting open seeds. And special toe placement that helps with perching and hopping. Hopping is jumping. So there's no water here. So this could be either the prairie or forest. And then bird 4, it says groove beak for food from water. So this could be the pond. Web toe, okay. So, well, let's see if we can figure it out just with this information. Hopefully we can. So A is bird, okay, so let's try bird 1. Since there is no water mentioned, I'm gonna go with either prairie or forest. I still do not know what a marsh is, so I'm gonna go with all the information that I have. Bird 1, it could be prairie or forest because there's no water mentioned. Bird 2 and 4 could be in a pond. Okay, so A, bird 1, prairie. Okay, true. Bird 2, forest. No, false. So it's not A. B. Bird 1, forest. True. Bird 2, true, pond. Bird 3, marsh. We don't know because we don't know what marsh is. Bird 4, prairie. Bird 4, prairie. False. Because we said that bird 4 is a pond. C. Bird 1, prairie. True. Bird 2, marsh. Jeez Louise, we don't know. Bird 3, pond. False. D. Man, I hope this is correct. Bird 1, forest. True. Bird 2, marsh. We don't know. Bird 3, prairie. True. And bird 4, pond. True. So as we can see, A has a false, so definitely it's not it. B has a false, and definitely it's not it. C has a false, definitely is not it. And then D has true, and I do not know what marsh is. But logically, if there's no false, I can make a very educated guess that D is the correct answer. So this is a very good example of what to do when you do not have all the information. Do not freak out, just stick to what you know. Question 16. A student compares the physical properties of 4 objects, and we have a rock, rubber eraser, purple cup, wooden block. Okay. Which of these physical properties do all 4 objects have in common? A. They all have the physical state and conduct electricity. Sticky notes. A. Same physical state. The physical state is solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. So yes, all solids. And then they conduct electricity. No, false. They are insulators. Insulators are wood, rubber, paper, and rocks. Definitely false. So it's not A. B. Conduct electricity? No. These are insulators. Bye. So now I have 50-50 chance to get this right. They all attract the same metal. These are non-magnetic. Yeah, this is so easy. And then D. They all are not soluble in water. That's true. And then they have the same physical state. That's true. That's it. It's so easy. They're not soluble in water. If you put all these objects in water, they will not dissolve. And they all have the physical state, the same physical state, yes, because they are solid. So save and close. Question 17. Students observe this diagram showing the life cycles of an oak tree and a lady beetle. Which inference can be made by comparing this diagram? Well, an inference is when you make a conclusion with the information that we have. Let's put it that way. It says plants require less energy than, okay, let's look at the cycle first. We have the seed and then a little plant, bigger, bigger. And then I can see that this big plant gave little seeds. Well, this big tree. And then the lady beetle cycle, we have eggs, larvae, pupa, and adult. Okay. Let me throw the word metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is when there is change. So we can see that the larvae, it's different than the adult and the pupa. So a lady beetle has to go under metamorphosis, which is the change of the body. Okay. Okay, plants require less energy than insects to undergo changes from a young organism to a mature organism. Well, we do not know which one of these uses more or less energy. B. Insects and plants follow a series of changes that allow them to survive and reproduce. Maybe. That seems logical. C. Insects are more likely than plants to adapt to changes in the environment to survive. We do not have enough information. We do not have, I'm saying we do not have enough information because there are different types of insects and there are different types of plants. So it depends. Are we talking about an insect that lives in the desert? Are we talking about an insect that lives in the forest? So we do not have enough information for this. D. Insects and plants are dependent on one another for survival. Okay. This is kind of tricky because I know that some insects eat plants. They need like to eat them like a lady beetle. And then plants need insects to pollinate and to reproduce. But not all plants need insects to reproduce and not all insects eat plants. Dragonflies, they are not herbivores. This is a partial truth. So we're not gonna choose this. So let's go back to B. It says insects and plants follow a series of changes that allows them to survive and reproduce. So since this diagram is showing me the changes, we're gonna say yes. Yes, the diagram is focusing on the changes. That's it. So this type of question, you have two that you're like, maybe, but you have to be logical and think, okay, what is this diagram showing me? Is this diagram showing me interaction between the insect and the plant? No, it's not. It's just showing me the life cycle. So I'm gonna go with B, okay? I'm giving you a lot of strategies for you to be able to figure out all the questions. Question 18. Which process will happen when the sun interacts with the ocean? Well, that's easy. Okay. Sun and ocean. Sun, which is heat, and ocean, which is water. Okay. A. Rain will fall only on the land. What? No. Some rain will fall on the ocean. So that's easy. Bye-bye. Water will not evaporate at nighttime. Water will not evaporate at nighttime. Well, we know that we need heat to evaporate, and there are some very hot nights. So I'm not gonna say no. There are some very hot nights. So there is evaporation there. C, salt water will become fresh vapor. Well, I'm thinking maybe because the salt does not evaporate. So this is what's happening. I have the ocean and the vapor evaporates, but it leaves the salt behind. So I'm thinking this is the answer. Let's see D. Precipitation will happen less often. No. So the answer definitely is C. They're showing us and you can do this experiment if you have a glass of water with salt and then you put it in the sun. You will only, after days, if it's hot, of course, and the water evaporates, you're going to have the salt left behind. So what it means is that you're going to have fresh water vapor. That is definitely true. It wasn't as easy as I thought, but it's easy. A partial desert food web is shown. And then you have animals, zebras, blah, blah, blah. Then you have the producers, that is grasses and shrubs. And then termites, brown owls. Okay, so these are separated. Okay. Which food chain shows one complete pathway which energy flows through the food web? Which food chain shows one complete pathway in which energy flows through this food web? So we're looking for a complete pathway. What are they trying to tell us? Complete pathway. A. It says grasses, termites. Okay, it skipped the moles. B. Grasses, zebras, and cheetahs. Skipped hyenas. C. Grasses, termites, hyenas. Not related. Because termites do not give energy to hyenas because hyenas do not eat termites. D. Grasses, shrubs, bugs? I don't know what that is. Gems bugs and grant moles. Not related. Okay, so now we are between A and B. And we're not 100% sure which one it is. So when you have two options, you need to see which one makes more sense. So we know that it's not C and we know that it's not D because these are like not related. So what is the difference between A and B? So let's go back to A. A says grass, termites, and owls. Okay. And then B says grass, mountain zebras, and cheetahs. So what I'm thinking is that the spotted hyenas are not necessarily needed because you can go directly from grass to zebras to cheetahs, right? Yeah, so I'm thinking it's B because I can eliminate the hyenas and I can go directly from grass. The grass gives the energy to the mountain zebras because zebras eat grass, and then the zebras give energy to the cheetahs because the cheetahs eat zebras. So that's it. So do you see what I did here? I took my time and then I analyzed both answers that I was having trouble with. And I saw that on A, we're definitely skipping the moles. And on B, even though I'm skipping the hyenas, I do not need them because cheetahs get their energy from zebras. Question 20. A student constructs the circuit shown for a science demonstration. We see 4 bulbs, a battery source, and an open switch on the right side and a closed switch on the left side. With the switches in these positions, which lights are on? Okay, sticky notes. Once again, if you have an iPad, you can draw the energy, but I'm doing this as if you do not have an iPad, and I highly recommend you making a drawing in a journal. But if you definitely do not have any way to make a drawing, let's just use the sticky pad. Okay, so what do I see? I see a parallel circuit, and even though the switch on the right is open, I still get the energy flowing through the battery, and we have a closed circuit with the energy flowing through all the bulbs. So it says all the lights. I'm gonna say maybe, but I'm thinking this is it. But I never just say, oh yeah, I check all of the answers. So then it says light 1 and 2. Well, light 1 and 2, they are definitely on, but 3 and 4 are definitely on. All lights are on. C, all lights are on. And D, well, these would be true if the switch this will be true if the switch on the left was open. So definitely this is very simple, it's A. And why, even though we have an open switch, we still have all the lights on? The answer is because this is a parallel circuit and we have the energy going through the closed circuit on the left. So save and close, next. 21. A student prepares a snack that consists of grapes, pecans, strawberries sprinkled with white powdered sugar, yum. The student stored the snack in the refrigerator. An hour later, the student observed that the powdered sugar could no longer be seen, but the fruit and nuts have not changed in appearance. What most likely happened to the sugar in the mixture? Okay, well, I know that salt and sugar dissolve. I know that, that's for a fact. So it might most likely will have something to do, like sugar is not just gonna jump and disappear. So most likely it dissolves somehow, some way. So let's see, A. The sugar evaporated? No, definitely no. Sugar does not evaporate. Bye. B. The sugar was more dense than the other foods in the mixture, so it settled at the bottom of the container. Okay, well, if sugar is at the bottom, it could still be seen. If sugar is at the bottom, we could still see it. So definitely no. And then C, the sugar dissolved in the moisture of fruit. Yes, sugar dissolves. D, the sugar absorbed energy from the nuts and melted. What? The sugar absorbed energy from the nuts and melted in a colorless liquid. Inside the refrigerator, the sugar would not melt. So, nope, nope, nope. Okay. So the answer is A. No, the answer is C. Sugar dissolved in the moisture of the fruit. So sugar can get dissolved or melted. So let me eliminate, since they're talking about melting, sugar gets dissolved or it can melt. The chart lists plants and animals interacting with parts of the environment. Which statement describes animal interacting with a living part of the environment? So why are they asking us? They're asking with animal plus living part. This is such an easy question, and it's so unbelievable that many people get it incorrect. It's beyond my understanding. So let's just solve it together so you get it correct, because it's so easy, so easy, so easy. So, okay, it says same as 1 through, okay, we need to use a different strategy here. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in statement 1, we have the animal, yes. Oh Lord. Animal plus, the animal is a hummingbird inside a flower. Well, a flower is a living thing. Animal from living thing. So maybe it's 1. 2, a lizard burrows into the sand. So lizard is an animal. But then the sand is non-living. 3, a fish absorbs oxygen. Fish is animal. Oxygen is not living, and gills is non-living, so non-living. So nothing that has 2 or 3 is correct. 4, a cactus, this is a living thing. Oh, a cactus wren eats. Okay, so if it says a cactus wren, and you don't know what in the world is a wren, but if it says eats, most likely it's an animal. It must be a bird. So a cactus wren, it must be an animal because it eats seeds, so it's a bird or something like that. A cactus wren eats seeds from a cactus fruit, so cactus fruit is living. 5, a sea star, that's an animal. It clings to a rock in a tidal pool. Those are non-living. And then 6, a bear animal. Scratches his back against a tree. A tree is living. So which ones are correct? Animal, so 1, definitely. And then 4. Oh gosh. 4. And then 6. There you go. So 1, 4, and 6 only. That's it. Question 23. A student drew the following pictures to show the day-night cycle of the Earth. Daytime from 7 to 6 p.m., 11 hours of the daytime, hours of the nighttime. Okay. Based on the pictures, how many hours should the student record on the nighttime picture to complete a day-night cycle? Okay. So as we saw on the other question, I think it was question 1 or 2, day and night is 24 hours. And then we see the pictures from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. that will be from sunrise, so daytime. From 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. will be 12 hours, so from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. is 11 hours. How many more hours do I need to get to 24? So 11 plus 10 is 21, 22, 23, 24. I need 13 hours. So 11 plus 13 equals 24 hours. So the answer is C. That was easy. They added a little bit of math, elapsed time, but we can handle this and more. Question 24. Sticky notes. A student uses a flashlight to shine a beam of light into 3 different objects. So we have object 1, 2, and 3. And then we see the direction of the light acting different. Which table describes what happens to the light beam as it interacts with each other? So in the answers, we have scatter, absorb, reflected, absorb. Okay, so vocabulary. Reflected. It means that it bounces back. Refracted. It bends. And absorbed. It stops. Or it just stays there. Something like that. Okay, so object one. Object one, we can see that the light bends, so that is refraction. Object two, we can see that the light stops, that is absorbed. Object three, we can see that it bounces back, that is reflection. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit more on refract. It bends, changes position, things look bigger, smaller. Smaller, broken. And then bounces back. You can see yourself or another or a thing. Absorbed, we cannot see the light in the object. Okay. So object one, refraction, it's not A at all. B, refracted, yes. Two, absorbed, yes. It's B. That's it. Let's check C anyway. Object one, reflected, no. Object one, absorbed, no. So the answer, as simple as that, is B, because object one is refracted, the light bends. Object two is absorbed because the light stops there, and object three is reflected because it bounces back. There you go. Question 25. White oaks grow to be 24 to 30 meters tall. Their long branches are covered with leaves and their roots reach deep into the soil to hold the tree in place. White oaks drop their leaves during the winter months. Okay, I'm going to read this again. I was thinking of something else. White oak trees grow to be 24 to 30 meters tall. Their long branches are covered with leaves and their roots reach deep into the soil to hold the tree in place. White oaks drop their leaves during the winter months. Okay. So I see ecosystems, temperature, yearly precipitation. Precipitation is the rain and stuff like that. Soil, okay, different types of soil. In which ecosystem will forests of white oaks be most likely to survive? Okay. I think I'm gonna have to read the question again. As I've told you before, I'm dyslexic, so if anything distracts me, I lose it. So I have to go back and read it. White oak trees grow 24 to 30 meters tall. Okay, so there must be a lot of sun. Long branches are covered with leaves, the roots reach. So this is not a desert for sure. White oaks drop their leaves during the winter months. Okay, so long cold winter with temperatures below zero. Short cool summers, less of 25 centimeters of rain, thin layer tops of frozen ground below. Definitely not. This is too cold for an oak tree. So no. B, warm throughout the year, very hot in the summer, less than 28 centimeters of rain, sand, rocky soil. Since it says sandy, rocky soil, I don't think that that type of soil will be very good for such big trees. So soil sounds suspicious. I don't think that's B. You need very good soil to be able to have 24 to 30 meters tall. 24 meters is around 100, around 80 feet. So these are huge trees. So you need very good soil. And then C, it says cold to moderate winters and warm summers between 76 and 100. That sounds like a lot of rain and rich deep soil. That sounds better, so let's say maybe. And then D, warm and wet year-round between 200 and 1,000 centimeters of rain. Soil drains quickly, thin top layer of humus. If it says wet and warm year-round, and then on the question it says something about the winter months, so it seems there is no winter here. So we're gonna choose C because C is most likely, makes more sense because of rain and deep soil. A three-step process is shown: deposition, compaction, cementation. I already know that we're talking about sedimentary rocks. Which of these are most likely formed by the process shown? Glaciers, sticky notes. Well, if you don't know this, we're gonna cry. Glaciers, mountains, sand dunes, and sedimentary rocks. This is definitely sedimentary rocks. The steps are 1, weathering, which is breaking, and then 2, erosion, which is moving, 3, deposition, which is layers, 4, compaction, which is how can we say it, getting smaller, squished. I don't know how to spell this, but squished. And then 5, cementation, glued together, solid sediment rock. So even though we don't need all the steps, I'm letting you know in case you don't know them. So these three steps are part of the formation of sedimentary rocks. A group of students is given 4 small cubes of the same size and instructed to place them in a beaker of water. 1 cube floats to the surface of the water. 2 of the cubes float in the middle of the beaker under the surface of the water. The last cube sinks to the bottom of the beaker. Which conclusion is best supported by what the students observed? Okay, well, just knowing that it's sink and float, they're talking about sink or float. We are talking about what? Density. I already know that. Some of the things are in the top, some in the middle, and some in the bottom. Let me tell you something. I've tried many different materials, and I have never found something that stays in the middle. If you know something that stays in the middle, please let me know. Okay, 2 of the 4 cups is soluble. No, we're talking solubility. No, not solubility. We're not talking about solubility. We're talking about density. B, all 4 cubes have different masses. 2 might have the same mass. Stay. Because they stayed in the middle. C, each cube is made of a different type of solid. 2 might be the same type of solid. The ones that stayed in the middle. D, one of the cubes is more dense than the other 3. True, one of the cubes sank. That's it. So as easy as that, D is the correct answer. That was so easy, guys. 28. Which effect will most likely occur in a 6-lane highway? Okay, let me read that again. Which effect will most likely occur if a 6-lane highway were built through an ecosystem? Okay, well, that will not be good. A, competition for resources will be reduced, habitats available to animals will be reduced, air pollution will decrease, and water pollution will decrease. So we're looking for something that is a negative impact, because every time that you build something in an ecosystem, you're destroying the habitat and you're destroying the trees. So we're looking for something that is negative. It says competition for resources will be reduced. That will be a positive thing. No. So this is false. Competition would increase. Competition will increase because we have less trees. B. Habitats available to animals will be reduced. Yeah, true. Outside. Yeah, we will have less habitats. They're destroying them with the highways. Air pollution will decrease. That's false. Less trees, more pollution. And more cars, more pollution. Of course, if you are building a highway, you're going to have more cars there. Water pollution will decrease. False. Totally false. Water pollution might increase. We cannot say it will increase because we're not sure in this ecosystem we have water. But if there is water, it will definitely increase. So the answer is B. Habitats available to animals will definitely be reduced. There you go. Students investigate force. The masses they use begin at rest on the ramp. The setup of the students is shown. So we have a ramp, masses, and a spring scale. Which change will reduce the amount of force needed to move the masses? Reduce the amount of force needed to move the masses. That means that you need to make it easier for you. So to use less force, so you need to use less force to move the masses. So A, decrease the height of the ramp. Yeah. If they lower the ramp, it would be easier to move the masses. So maybe B, increase the height of the ramp. No, these will make it harder. C, add additional mass. No, these will make it harder. If you have more mass, then it will be more difficult to move it. D, pull the spring scale with 2 hands. If you pull the spring scale with 2 hands, you're using more force. So the answer is A. And you can try this if you have a ramp. Try to move something, and the higher the ramp, the more difficult it will be, and the lower the ramp, it will be easier. So the answer is definitely A. Students record characteristics of a tomato plant. One student's list is shown. Tomato plant characteristics: stems with branches, have many wide leaves, roots growing out of lower center, 7 large tomatoes, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of characteristics. Let me read the question. Which tomato plant characteristic is least likely to be inherited? I can anticipate many students do not read the word least. So it's very important that you put in your sticky note, least. So not likely to be inherited. Okay, so A, flower color. Yeah, that's inherited. If you have a blue flower, most likely their baby flowers will be blue. Leaf shape, inherited. Yeah. C, type of roots. Well, most likely the type of roots will be the same from mama plant to baby plant. D, number of tomatoes. It says 7 large red tomatoes. Can we have 7 large red tomatoes in all plants? No. We cannot determine the amount of tomatoes in a plant. Some plants will have 4, some plants will have 5, some plants will have 7. So the number of tomatoes is definitely not inherited. Students list resources that are used to heat buildings: wood, coal, natural gas, petroleum, and so on. Which of these tables classifies correctly the resources? So stick it out. Okay, we see renewable, non-renewable. Okay, so let's make a list of renewable things. Wood. Let me put renewable in capital letters. We really need more tools with this situation. We need like colors and being able to make drawings and stuff like that. So renewable wood, yes, because you plant more trees. Coal, no. Coal is non-renewable. Natural gas, definitely non-renewable. Once we are out, we are out. Petroleum, nope. Solar energy, well, unless the sun explodes, hopefully not, because that will be devastating. Solar energy is renewable. Okay, so A, solar energy and wood, yes. Okay, we're thinking is A. Okay, B, renewable. Natural gas is non-renewable. C, coal is non-renewable. And D, petroleum is non-renewable. So as simple as that, we can tell 100% sure that A is the correct answer. A student mixes a sample of stones with a sample of table salt. The mass and the volume of the samples were determined before mixing the samples. The mass and the volume of each sample is shown. So we have materials, grams, milliliters. Which statement is true about the mixture? So I can see that grams, milliliters. Okay. So mass is measured with grams, and volume is measured with milliliters. Know that, okay? The mass of the mixture is 85 grams, so A. Let's determine first the mass of this. Mass is grams, so it's 45 plus 40, which is 85 grams. And then the volume of this situation is 25 plus 35 equal 25, 35, 45, 55, 60. 60 milliliters, okay? So A says the mass of the mixture is 85 grams. Yeah, we're thinking that's it. The mass of the mixture is 60 milliliters. No, that is the volume. C, the volume of the mixture is 60 grams. Grams is for mass. And then the volume of the mixture is 85 milliliters. No, the volume is 60 milliliters. So as simple as that, A is the correct answer. The mass of the mixture is 85 grams. That's it. A student model of a closed ecosystem is shown. The student plans to add land snails to the model in order to show how the snail interacts with different parts of the ecosystem. So you have a lamp, a little aquarium. Is that called an aquarium? Well, the glass thingy here. Rocks, sand, water, gravel, shredded newspaper for food. What should the student add to the model so the snail will survive? Okay, so sticking out. Fish to provide food. I don't think that snails eat fish. Snails do not eat fish. Plus, we would need water as well. So it's not A. B, sticks to provide a place to hide. Well, there are no predators here. There are no predators. It does not mid to high. C, deep water to provide carbon dioxide. Water contains oxygen. Water is made with hydrogen, 2 parts of hydrogen, and then oxygen. And then D, living plants to provide oxygen. Yeah, we definitely need plants for oxygen and food. Even though it says that the newspaper can be food, I would think that the snail would like to eat some plants here. So the answer is definitely D. There you go. Next question. Deltas are large landforms found along coastlines. What process formed deltas? Deltas look like branches, like the lungs, like a hand, and they are definitely formed at the mouth of the river. So every time that you talk about a delta, think of mouth of a river. So let's see A, cementation by sediments by river. B, deposition, sediments by river, erosion. So what can we eliminate? We can eliminate C and D because it's talking about ocean. So that's not it. So it's between A and B. Cementation of sediments by rivers. Deposition of sediment by rivers. Cementation or deposition? I would say it is deposition because when you have the rivers, they're moving, so it's very difficult to have cementation all the way because there's water involved. So yeah, it's not A. Cementation is difficult where there is water involved. And then say yes. Rivers are usually moving, changing shape and stuff like that. So it's definitely deposition. Next. The raccoon can be found in most areas of Texas. The coyote has smaller territory and is found in the Big Bend to Brownsville. These two species are related. Oh, they have a similar tail. The chart shows the characteristics of the two species. So we have the raccoon and the coyote. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sharp teeth, blah, blah, blah. So they have a lot of things that are similar. Which statement does not describe how the body structure of this animal helped them escape predators? So we want something that is false because it says the word not. So when you see the word not, put in your sticky note false because that's what you're looking for. So paws with long claws and flexible toes help them climb trees. If I'm climbing a tree, I am definitely escaping from a predator. Climbing a tree can help them escape. B, sharp teeth allow them to catch prey on land or in water. Catch prey. Here they are the predators. So maybe, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, because here, if they have sharp teeth, they are catching prey. They are the predators. And the question is escaping the predators. So that will be like the opposite. Let's see. Long tails allow them to balance on branches in trees. Uh-oh. Balance on branches in trees. Maybe if I am escaping from a tiger, I need to be on a tree, which is similar to climbing. So maybe. And then D. Good eyesight helps them to see at night. Yes. They can escape predators if they see. So we are between B and C. On B, they are the predators. So it's totally opposite to escaping predators. And on C, they're balancing branches in trees. And even though they're not saying anything about they're escaping, it sounds like something fun or just a characteristic. I would say that it's B, because here they are the ones catching prey. So I'm sure it's B. That's it. Sediments are transported at different speeds. Which type of sediment transport is the slowest? Let me read that again. Sediments are transported at different speeds. Which type of sediment transport is the slowest? Okay. Okay, rivers. Rivers are fast. That's why we can do fun stuff at rivers. B, transport by winds. Ooh, fast. Winds can be very fast. That's why we have tornadoes, hurricanes, and all that. Glaciers. Glaciers are slow. Slow. And then D, transport by ocean currents. The ocean currents are fast, for sure. That's why people die there. Are fast. That was so easy. It's so nice to have an easy question at the end. So glaciers take millions or thousands. I don't know. It takes a long time. And something that you need to know is that glaciers form U-shaped valleys. Even though you don't need this information for this test, you might need it for your actual test. So that's it. We are going to hit next. Are you sure? Yes. And we got one wrong? Which one we got wrong? Oh, so we got one wrong. I can't believe that.